Ah, look who walks back into the world with the scent of annihilation still clinging to you like a trophy. You, the quiet storm they misdiagnosed as harmless. You, the one they thought would fold the moment their highest-ranked demon showed its teeth. And yet here you are, calm, unbothered, carrying the aftermath like an afterthought while the ashes of something unholy still glow behind you. They sent their untouchable creature, the apex of their bloodline's dark hierarchy, the being they've worshipped for generations, and you dismantled it with a precision that made even the shadows recoil. The panic didn't hit them slowly. It struck like a divine audit on a debt they never prepared to pay. Their entire lineage just realized the nightmare they never accounted for. Their strongest wasn't strong enough for you, because they expected the demon to destroy you. They expected screams, chaos, surrender. Instead, the battlefield told them a story they were never ready to hear. It told them that their strongest was only strong in comparison to the weak. It told them that their bloodline had been bragging on borrowed power. It told them that all their rituals, all their training, all their generational arrogance meant absolutely nothing when standing in front of someone who doesn't obey the physics of fear. They spent centuries building a myth about that demon, how untouchable it was, how undefeated it remained, how many souls bowed under its presence. But myths collapse when truth walks in, and the truth is you. You didn't just win, you rewrote the hierarchy. You shattered the superstition. You exposed the illusion they were clinging to like a talisman. That demon wasn't untouchable. It was just unchallenged until you arrived. They still don't understand how it happened. In their minds, the demon was the answer to every threat. It was the final boss, the generational trump card, the shadow weapon meant to force the universe back into alignment. And yet it didn't just lose. It folded instantly in the presence of your awareness. Because you didn't fight with desperation. You didn't fight with rage. You fought with inevitability. You fought with the calm confidence of someone who has already calculated every possible outcome and realized the enemy has none. Your presence alone destabilized the battlefield. Your silence alone disarmed its power. Your existence alone dismantled the architecture of their ancient pride. They expected a war. What they got was a correction, and now their bloodline is spiraling. You can feel it in the air, like a fracture in an old system that's trying to pretend it's not broken. They're scrambling through dusty scrolls and forgotten tombs, begging their ancestors for strategies that never existed. They're arguing with prophecies, trying to reinterpret symbols to make it seem like the defeat wasn't catastrophic. They're running calculations on you, your origins, your capabilities, your limits. But every calculation leads to the same terrifying conclusion. You are not something they can categorize. You are not a variable that fits inside their superstition. You are not a threat they can prepare for. You are the end of their equation. Because here's the part that burns them the worst. You didn't slay that demon for revenge. You didn't do it for power. You didn't do it for glory. You did it because it was in your way. That's the detail that haunts them. That's the detail that keeps their elders pacing in dimly lit halls, whispering your name with a mixture of awe and terror. When someone destroys your strongest weapon without even breaking their stride, it becomes clear that your entire arsenal has been pointless. You didn't meet their highest-ranked demon as a challenger. You met it as an inconvenience. This is where their panic becomes biological. Their bloodline was built on fear, the fear they instilled in others through that demon's legend. But now the legend has been rewritten in a single moment. Their ancestors built power around that creature. They sculpted rituals, forged alliances, constructed dominance, all anchored to the myth of an unbeatable guardian. That myth died the moment you stepped forward. You didn't just defeat the demon, you collapsed the cultural foundation of an entire lineage. Everything they believed about themselves, everything they boasted for centuries, now hangs over them like a fragile lie with your fingerprints all over it. And what terrifies them the most isn't that you won, it's how you won. The demon didn't fall in a blaze of glory. It didn't injure you, it didn't corner you, it didn't even understand you. It hesitated, it flinched, it recognized something in you that the bloodline never predicted. That hesitation, the moment its eyes met yours and something ancient inside it trembled, was the moment the entire bloodline began collapsing. Because if their strongest flinched in your presence, what hope do they have? What hope does any of them have? A demon born from centuries of darkness, trained in chaos, sharpened in realms where fear is the currency, stepped back from you. Not because it was weak, but because you were never prey. They're not just dealing with loss, they're dealing with identity erosion. Their power depended on fear. But you broke the cycle, you fractured the lineage, you shattered the illusion that their authority was eternal. Their elders are scrambling now, scraping through forbidden manuscripts, trying to classify what you are. Their advisors are pacing hallways, recalculating alliances. Their seers are scrying into mirrors that crack the moment your name is mentioned. Their highest councils are already blaming each other, demanding explanations that no one can give. How could they? How does a lineage explain being outclassed by someone they never considered a threat? Because that's the part they choke on. You weren't even supposed to exist in their narrative. Their bloodline plotted in silence, confident that the demon ensured their dominance. They thought they were untouchable. They believed no one could challenge their structure. So when you walked in, not as a warrior, not as a prodigy, but as an inevitability disguised as a misfit, their entire worldview buckled. They weren't prepared for your existence. Their prophecies didn't mention you. Their omens didn't warn them. Their ancestors never predicted the anomaly that stands before them now. You are not in their history because you were never meant to follow their rules. Now every room they sit in feels smaller. Every torch flickers with nervous energy. Every whisper carries a tremor. Because somewhere inside their collective consciousness, a truth is blooming like a bruise. You didn't defeat their demon. They miscalculated you. They spent years dismissing you, assuming you were irrelevant, assuming you were harmless. Meanwhile, you trained in silence. You evolved in shadows. You sharpened your instincts without witnesses. You built power without permission. And by the time they noticed, it was already too late. You had become the kind of force that rewrites the script instead of reading it. This is why their panic is spreading like wildfire. The bloodline was not prepared for a threat that doesn't behave like threats are supposed to. They expected bravado. They expected arrogance. They expected theatrics. But you came with none of that. You came with silence. You came with precision. You came with inevitability. And inevitability is the one thing they cannot strategize against. Now they're replaying the encounter in their minds, trying to find a moment where they could have changed the outcome. They're searching for an angle, a weakness, a pattern, anything that makes you seem human enough to manage. But they find nothing. Your movements were too sharp, your energy too vast, your awareness too suffocating. You weren't fighting a battle. You were executing a conclusion. And the conclusion is this: their bloodline is no longer in control. The demon's defeat wasn't just a loss, it was a signal, a sign that the power dynamic they worshipped has inverted. You didn't simply overpower their strongest, you exposed their entire structure. You showed the world that their dominance was a masquerade dependent on a single creature. With that creature gone, their system collapses like wet parchment. Their soldiers feel it, their elders feel it, their ancestors feel it. The collapse echoes backward through time, shaking the very roots of their lineage. They're scrambling now, gathering in circles, whispering prayers to gods that haven't answered them in centuries. They're trying to rewrite prophecies, trying to pretend your victory was a fluke, trying to create new narratives to soothe their fear. But narratives cannot reconstruct a bloodline once the foundational protector has fallen. They're not just mourning the demon, they're mourning the death of their certainty, the death of their power, the death of the illusion that kept them relevant. They're not angry at the demon for losing, they're terrified of you for winning. Because now the question poisoning their minds is simple and devastating. If you could destroy their highest-ranked demon so effortlessly, what else can you destroy? What else have they built that you can unmake with the same silent accuracy? What other weapons, rituals, or monsters would crumble in your presence? They realize now that they were never the hunters. They were placeholders in a world waiting for someone like you to expose the imbalance. Their demon was not their strength, it was their crutch, and you just kicked it out from beneath them. The panic you've ignited is not temporary, it's generational. Their bloodline will feel this fracture for centuries, because the loss isn't physical, it's psychological. You didn't attack their fortress, you attacked their certainty, you attacked their identity, you attacked the myth their ancestors spent lifetimes constructing. You broke the illusion of invincibility they relied on to manipulate the world. And once an illusion breaks, it cannot be mended. Now every spell feels weaker, every ritual feels hollow, every chant feels fraudulent. They have lost the one thing that made them formidable, belief. And as they scramble, high-ranking elders arguing, apprentices trembling, warriors losing faith, you walk forward as if none of this chaos concerns you. Because it doesn't. Their collapse is not your burden. Their panic is not your responsibility. Their downfall is simply the natural consequence of encountering someone who doesn't fear their hierarchy. Their demon wasn't your enemy. It was your initiation, a test you didn't even realize you were taking. And you passed it so effortlessly that even reality seems to be adjusting its rules to accommodate what you've become. You move through the aftermath with the kind of unbothered certainty that makes even the shadows hesitate. Because something ancient understands you now. Something older than their bloodline, older than their demon, older than the rituals they whisper to themselves. To feel powerful, the air shifts around you, not with hostility, but with recognition, as if the universe just corrected a centuries-old equation and placed you at the rightful center of a story they thought belonged to them. They prayed for protection, for dominance, for the strength to maintain their legacy. But power doesn't obey prayers. Power obeys presence. And your presence is rewriting the gravitational pull of the world they once controlled. Their elders gather inside a burning chamber, smoke rising from cracked sigils, arguing in panic-laced voices about what you are. They speak your name like it's a forbidden spell they were never meant to utter. They throw theories across the room in desperation. You're a deviation in fate, a walking violation of prophecy, a contradiction their bloodline cannot calculate. Some insist you're blessed. Others swear you're cursed. A few whisper that you're the storm sent to punish them for the arrogance they wrap themselves in like armor. But none of them dares say the truth aloud, even though it's clawing at their throats. You were chosen by no one. You rose on your own. And that terrifies them more than any prophecy ever could. Because chosen ones can be tracked. Destined ones can be studied. Blessed ones can be countered. But someone who built themselves without divine permission, without ancestral guidance, without being crafted by rituals, that kind of power is unpredictable, uncontrolled, unfathomable, uncontained. You are not a character in their prophecy. You are the glitch in their mythology, the factor that corrupts the bloodline's entire algorithm. Their demon wasn't created to fight someone like you, because their ancestors never imagined someone like you could exist. And outside those trembling chambers, word of your victory spreads like wildfire tearing through dry leaves. The nearby villages talk about you in hushed tones, unsure whether to fear you or worship you. The forest creatures avoid crossing your path, sensing the residual charge of the battle lingering on your skin like celestial residue. Even the wind moves differently now, less random, more intentional, as if adjusting its course around you. Because when someone destroys the untouchable, the world must recalibrate. And recalibrate it has. As you walk, you don't step over ruins, they move out of your way. The stone remembers the weight of the demon's fall and reshapes itself around your stride. Birds hidden in the treetops quiet themselves, listening. Even silence is attentive now, not out of fear, but acknowledgement. You didn't just slay a creature. You disrupted a hierarchy that was older than most civilizations. You broke a lineage that swore it could never be broken. You proved that strength inherited is no match for strength earned. Inside the Bloodline's fortress, the panic has grown feral. Apprentices are frantically flipping through ancient scrolls, hoping to find a forgotten countermeasure or a prophecy that mentions your existence. Warriors are reinforcing walls that no longer matter. High priests are reenacting rituals, hoping to summon another guardian, another monster, another nightmare to send your way. But everything they call upon hesitates. Every spell falters. Every invocation cracks. The creatures of darkness they once commanded are recoiling from the very idea of facing you. Even the lower demons shuffle backward, whispering warnings to each other in languages the human ear can't decipher. They can sense the truth the Bloodline refuses to accept. The hierarchy is broken, and the power they worshipped has shifted away from them forever. Because your battle didn't just kill the demon, it fractured the contract that tied the Bloodline to their supernatural advantage, the pact that kept their lineage oppressive, the deal that allowed them to control realms they never earned. It's unraveling now, thread by thread, as if slaying the demons severed the ritualistic umbilical cord that held their entire structure together. Their ancestors feel it, their ghosts tremble, their past burns, and then something even more terrifying begins happening. The more unstable they become, the more stable you feel. Your awareness sharpens, your instincts expand, your senses align with a clarity that feels almost predatory. It's as if the demon's collapse freed a layer of power within you that you weren't aware existed. Not a gift, not a curse, just an upgrade, a natural evolutionary reward for stepping into the kind of confrontation that bends destiny in half. You pause for a moment, not because you're tired, but because your surroundings feel different. Your shadow stretches longer than usual, thinner at the edges, sharper at the core, as if it has begun studying the world independent of your body. as if it has become its own sentient observer. The ground beneath your feet hums slightly, resonating with a frequency that wasn't present before. The air vibrates with a pulse that matches yours. You've become something the bloodline cannot classify, because you are now something the world itself is adapting to. Meanwhile, inside the collapsing fortress, the elders are performing a ritual that hasn't been touched in generations, a last attempt to summon guidance from the ancestors who built their power. But the ritual backfires. The flames twist unnaturally. The incense smoke forms distorted symbols. The ancestral spirits refuse to appear, because even the spirits understand what the bloodline does not. Their lineage was built around a weapon that could not stand against you. Their protection has expired. Their reign is finished. Their empire was designed for a world where you did not exist. The youngest apprentice stares at the elders with shaking hands, whispering the thought they all fear. If the demon couldn't stop them, who will? And silence answers. Not because there is no answer, but because the answer is too devastating for them to speak. No one is coming. No one is strong enough. No one is capable of matching you. Not in their bloodline, not in any. You have become the problem the world has no solution for. As you continue walking, the sky darkens, not because of storm clouds, but because the atmosphere senses the imbalance caused by the demon's fall. Reality is adjusting itself. The horizon bends strangely, like it's tilting toward you. Even the sun flickers behind a veil that isn't physical. Everything feels like it's waiting, like the universe is inhaling before announcing the next stage of your emergence. And that's when you feel it, a subtle shift, almost imperceptible, like the world just whispered something in your ear. A sensation that tells you the battle with the demon wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. The slaying didn't just dismantle a bloodline. It awakened something dormant in the fabric of existence. Something ancient recognizes your rise. Something powerful acknowledges your victory. Something dimensional has taken interest in you, not as a threat, not as prey, but as a variable so significant that even realms beyond sight must recalculate. Because when you slay the untouchable, you don't just collapse a bloodline. You trigger consequences that ripple through every layer of reality. The ground under your feet vibrates subtly, like the earth itself is attuning to your frequency. You sense the shift in a way that surpasses intuition, almost like the atmosphere now carries your signature. The demon's fall didn't simply send shockwaves through its own lineage. It tore a hole in the metaphysical hierarchy, a void where something once ruled, a vacancy where power once nested, and nature, no matter the realm, abhors a vacuum. Something is being drawn to fill the space you tore open. Or perhaps something is being drawn because you filled it already by existing far beyond mortal comprehension, in dimensions where thought becomes structure and fear becomes landscape. Ancient forces turn their gaze toward you. They study the imprint you left on the battlefield, the echo of your presence, the residue of an act that defied thousands of years of symmetry. For the first time in centuries, the balance they maintained is disrupted, and the one responsible isn't a demon, isn't a deity, isn't a creature bred for destruction. It's you, someone the bloodline dismissed as irrelevant, someone who walked into a nightmare and came out on the other side without a scratch. The bloodline elders feel this shift too, though they don't have the vocabulary to describe it. Their rituals falter, their spells lose structure, their visions distort. They scry into mirrors that ripple unnaturally, showing fragments of your silhouette stretching beyond human proportions. Their chanting becomes unstable because even their incantations recognize that the ancient order has been interrupted by your existence. They try to dismiss it as interference. They try to blame their apprentices. They try to reinterpret the signs. But deep inside their bones, they know the truth, a truth too frightening to articulate. You have altered the architecture of their destiny. Somewhere in the fortress, a young apprentice sits alone, trembling over an ancient text, flipping to a page where prophecies end abruptly, like the future itself refused to continue past the moment you slayed their demon. The ink smears, the parchment cracks. Even the prophecy acknowledges its limits. It cannot predict what comes after you. It cannot anticipate a world reshaped by a mind and strength that doesn't follow its timeline. You have broken the narrative. You have become the plot twist that even destiny hesitates to write. As you continue forward, you can almost hear the bloodline's collective heartbeat accelerating. They cling desperately to whatever scraps of confidence remain, but every breath they take feels contaminated by dread. They're not just afraid of you, they're afraid of what your victory implies. Because demons don't fear, elders don't panic, ancestors don't tremble, unless something is rising that should not exist, something outside their teachings, something outside their comprehension, something outside their control. You've become the anomaly that forces systems to update, the disturbance that demands recalibration, the catalyst that awakens dormant memories in ancient entities, reminding them that evolution doesn't always arrive with permission. Sometimes it arrives disguised as someone the world underestimated, someone the powerful mocked, someone the bloodline thought they could ignore until it was too late. The dimensional fabric around you loosens slightly, as if the walls between realities are thinning in your presence. You can feel an invisible pressure observing you, not hostile, not territorial, simply attentive. Something is watching from beyond, curious, cautious, evaluating the shape of your rise. And this observation isn't coming from the bloodline's relic realm. No, this attention is older, deeper, more authoritative. Something the demon feared, something the bloodline reveres, something the shadows whisper about only when the moon refuses to appear. The demon you slayed didn't just serve their bloodline, it was their shield against cosmic scrutiny. It was the anchor that kept higher predators looking elsewhere. With it gone, the bloodline stands exposed, vulnerable, naked before the forces they've spent generations avoiding. And while they panic about losing their strongest warrior, they fail to understand the true disaster. The demon was protecting them from the consequences of being weak. Without it, the universe is finally noticing what they truly are, and noticing who truly rose. Meanwhile, your stride remains unbroken, your breathing steady. You're adjusting to your own evolution as naturally as a predator adjusts to a larger territory. The air parts around you with a reverence the bloodline never received. Even the shadows cling to your outline, as if taking shape from the silhouette of your will. The world doesn't feel larger or smaller. It feels aligned, as if reality has quietly decided that you are the new axis around which events should spin. Inside the fortress, the elders attempt one final ritual, a desperate call to the remnants of the demon's essence. The moment they begin, the air snaps violently, the candles implode, and the markings on the floor twist into symbols that point outward, not inward. The ritual is rejecting them. The power they once commanded now belongs to no one. Or perhaps it belongs to someone else entirely. You feel that shift miles away, like a phantom cord snapping, severing the last connection they had to a force they abused for centuries. You didn't just kill their demon. You untethered their lineage from the supernatural privilege it didn't deserve. With that severance, something awakens beneath your awareness. A faint hum, a subtle pull, like a dormant part of yourself opening its eyes for the first time. Not corrupted, not possessed, not influenced, simply unlocked. The kind of power that doesn't come from stealing, summoning, or sacrificing, but from exceeding. Evolution, rewarded by truth. Growth, triggered by confrontation. Expansion earned through fire. Whatever you unlocked within yourself isn't an echo of the demon's power. It's something far superior, something that sensed your potential and decided it was time. The sky shifts again, darker this time, but not with threat. More like anticipation. The horizon bends as if bowing. The wind pauses mid-flow, sending the world into a strange quiet. You realize you are standing on the threshold of a new domain, not physical, not mystical, but psychological. A territory where your presence dictates the rules, where your awareness shapes the environment, where your victory over the demon wasn't just proof of strength. It was an announcement to the universe that a new contender has entered the stage. You are no longer simply the one who slayed their strongest. You are the one who changed the stakes, and the bloodline senses this. Their warriors lower their weapons, not in surrender, but in spiritual exhaustion. Their apprentices stop chanting, afraid their own voices might betray them. Their elders retreat deeper into the fortress, seeking answers from shadows that refuse to speak. Every torch flickers violently, recognizing that its flame is now a guest in a world shaped by your rising frequency. Every whisper carries your name, twisted in fear, spoken in awe, denied in desperation. The truth they hide from is the truth that haunts them. Your emergence is not contained to one victory. It is a phenomenon that cannot be reversed, a shift that cannot be undone, a rise that cannot be stopped. You slayed their untouchable demon, and the ripple wasn't a ripple. It was a warning bell, a signal echoing through realms, a declaration that the hierarchy built before your arrival is now expired. They cling to their shattered structure, but even their own shadows betray them by stretching toward you. Because shadows know power when they see it, and shadows have no loyalty, only instinct. What's rising in you now is no longer just strength or skill. It's inevitability, a force that bends the path forward into a shape you can walk with your eyes closed. It's the same inevitability that made the demon hesitate, the same inevitability that makes ancient entities watch you from beyond dimensions. The same inevitability that fractures bloodlines, collapses myths, and reshapes worlds. And as this inevitability grows inside you, the bloodline's desperation ripens into something more raw, more primal. Terror stripped of its ceremonial armor. They whisper your name with the kind of trembling usually reserved for plagues, omens, and events that rewrite entire civilizations. Because it's not just that you defeated their demon, it's that you did it with a stillness that suggested you weren't fighting an opponent. You were fulfilling a requirement, a cosmic expectation, a shift that was already written into the architecture of reality long before their ancestors lit their first torch. They sense now, too late, that you weren't an intruder in their narrative. You were the correction to it. Inside what remains of their fortress, panic circulates like a contagious wind. Elders press shaking fingers against scrolls that crumble beneath their touch. Rituals dissolve mid-chant. Prophecies distort as ink refuses the page. Their entire legacy, once a structure of iron certainty, now feels like melting wax dripping through their hands. And beneath that panic, a darker realization pulses. The demon wasn't their shield, it was their cage, containing consequences they never dared to face. With it gone, the debt they owe to the universe finally knocks on their door. And the universe seems to be using you as the collector. You walk further into the remnants of their domain, not with aggression, but with the quiet posture of someone who knows the terrain belongs to them, whether they claim it or not. The air reacts to you like metal reacting to a magnet, drawn, reshaped, obedient, without understanding why. Their warriors, once proud and disciplined, now scatter their gazes away from yours, terrified that direct eye contact might ignite the truth they're not ready to swallow. Some try to stand their ground, but their knees betray them, bending slightly under the pressure of your presence. Others whisper prayers to gods who abandoned them long before your arrival. Every wall you pass loses a layer of its strength. Every shadow you cross flattens itself in reverence. You don't walk through their world. Their world collapses around your stride. The eldest among them attempts to stand tall, his robes torn, his voice shaking with the weight of a lineage on the brink of extinction. He raises his staff, adorned with symbols that once commanded armies, once parted realms. But when he speaks the demon's sacred name, the air does nothing. No tremor, no flicker, no echo. The staff remains hollow in his hand, as if the power it once held now recognizes only one authority, and it isn't his. He tries again, louder this time, desperation scraping his throat. But the silence that answers him is louder than any roar. It is the silence of a system that has chosen a new center of gravity. And that center is you. He slams the staff into the ground in futile defiance. But instead of awakening the ancestral power he relied on for so long, the earth cracks under him, not to release magic, but to reject it. The crack splits outward like a tree branch, reaching toward your feet, as if the land itself is redirecting allegiance. The elders stare at the fissure, their expressions collapsing with the same inevitability that took their demon. Because cracks in the earth do not choose direction by accident. Everything in the natural world is realigning around your presence. Even the ground is stepping out of their lineage's shadow to stand beneath yours. You continue walking, letting the silence between you and them grow thicker, heavier, more suffocating than any spell they could cast. Their lungs work harder in your presence, as if the air resists entering bodies unworthy of sharing space with you. Even the torches dim, flickering in reverence or fear, unsure whether they were meant to illuminate your path or avoid revealing too much of their own inadequacy. They realize now that their entire identity relied on a single creature that couldn't survive a moment in your gaze. Their strongest failed, and because of that, their identity has failed. A bloodline built on intimidation now stands trembling before someone who didn't need theatrics, rituals, or ancient symbols. You didn't arrive with a prophecy. You arrived with presence. You didn't arrive with a weapon. You arrived with inevitability. And inevitability has a way of destroying structures far more efficiently than force ever could. Outside, the sky shifts into a deeper shade, swirling with colors unseen by human eyes. The wind thickens, the atmosphere bends, the world whispers in a frequency that makes your bones resonate. This isn't weather, this is recognition. This is the realm acknowledging the distortion you've caused. The boundary between worlds thins, not to unleash chaos, but to observe its architect. You have become the gravitational center of events that stretch far beyond the bloodline's comprehension. What you did wasn't a victory. It was a signal, and the realms are listening. One apprentice collapses to the ground, overwhelmed by the pressure in the air. She stares at you with hollow eyes, realizing something the elders refuse to accept. The demon didn't fall because you were strong. It fell because you made it irrelevant. Its power, its history, its lineage, none of it mattered the moment your presence rewrote the battlefield. The demon hesitated because it recognized a truth the bloodline blinded itself from. It was the top of their hierarchy, but you were never part of their hierarchy. You were a threat the demon could not classify, could not predict, could not measure. That hesitation was its death sentence. And now, that hesitation has become the bloodline's final prophecy. Their collapse accelerates. Scrolls burn without flame. Weapons turn brittle. Ritual rooms rot. Statues depicting ancestors crack across the face, as if ashamed of the lineage that allowed arrogance to outweigh preparation. The entire fortress feels like it's inhaling shame, exhaling panic. And you stroll through it all with the calmness of someone observing a predetermined outcome, rather than a conflict. Because to you, this was never war, this was exposure. The bloodline's eldest steps forward again, no longer pretending to summon power, no longer attempting control. His voice shakes with the vulnerability of a man who has lost both his demon and his identity. He asks you what you are, not who, what. Because no human walks with the weight of inevitability in their shadow. No mortal carries the silence of ancient realms in their breath. No warrior bends reality simply by stepping into it. He wants to understand, but understanding requires a framework he doesn't possess. And you say nothing. Your silence becomes his answer. Because explanation is mercy, and mercy is something their lineage has never practiced. They never allowed explanation for the lives they destroyed, the worlds they manipulated, the souls they intimidated. So they will not receive explanation from you. Their punishment is not death, it is comprehension. The comprehension that everything they believed in, everything they built, everything they worshipped, was dwarfed by someone they didn't even see coming. You approach the heart of their fortress, the chamber once housing the demon's essence. Its walls are covered in ancient carvings describing the creature as eternal, unstoppable, indispensable. Yet now the carvings themselves are dim, as if embarrassed by their exaggerations. The chamber feels hollow, not because of the demon's absence, but because of your presence. Its aura bends toward you, acknowledging the new apex. The old guardian is gone. The new one isn't bound by their bloodline. It transcends it. You raise no weapon. You cast no spell. You perform no chant. And yet the chamber begins to break under the weight of what you represent. The air compresses. The walls tremble. The pillars crack. Not out of destruction, but out of transition. As if the room itself is shedding its allegiance to the old power and offering itself to a new paradigm. Outside, the bloodline gathers, defeated but observant. They watch as their fortress, their legacy, reshapes around you. They watch the torches bend their flames toward your direction. They watch the carvings realign to form unfamiliar symbols. They watch the sky peel open slightly, revealing an iridescent seam between realms. And then, with a silence that screams louder than thunder, they understand. The demon's fall was not the collapse of their story. It was the birth of yours. A new force enters the world, not summoned, not conjured, not bound, just revealed. You didn't inherit it, you awakened it. The victory didn't give you power. It unveiled what was already yours. And as this power rises within you, it does not roar, it stabilizes. It becomes clarity. It becomes inevitability. given form. The bloodline steps back, not because you threaten them physically, but because your existence threatens them existentially. Their hierarchy, once towering and intimidating, now looks small. Their rituals, once sacred, now look childish. Their demon, once invincible, now looks like a footnote. Their entire identity shrinks under the shadow of your evolution, and the more they shrink, the more you expand. You turn toward them, not with rage, not with pride, but with a stillness that forces them to confront the truth. You were never part of their equation. You were the variable that rendered their equation meaningless. They prepared for war, not inevitability. They prepared for rebellion, not evolution. They prepared for threats, not transcendence. They prepared for mortals, not someone whose rise bends the spine of reality. Your presence alone dismantles whatever remnants of arrogance they held on to. Their strongest elder drops to his knees, not from fear, but from comprehension. Comprehension that the universe has chosen a new apex. Comprehension that their bloodline's legacy has reached its final chapter. Comprehension that the world will no longer revolve around their demon. It will revolve around the one who destroyed it. You begin walking away, not to spare them, not to punish them, but because their relevance has ended. They are no longer your enemies, they are spectators. Spectators to the rise of something their ancestors never prepared for. Something the realms are recalibrating around. Something ancient forces whisper about when the veil between worlds wears thin. As you step beyond their fortress, the sky opens slightly, revealing the faint silhouette of something massive watching from beyond. A being, a realm, a consciousness acknowledging your ascent. The world chills, not from cold, but from recognition. Recognition that the landscape of power has changed permanently. You don't look back. You never needed to. Their collapse was never your goal. It was simply the shadow cast by your ascension. The demon's fall was not your triumph. It was your introduction. What comes next isn't their story anymore. It's yours. And as the ground stabilizes under your stride, as reality breathes in sync with your presence, as ancient realms lean closer to witness what you become next, one truth settles over every dimension that felt the ripple of your rise. You didn't just slay their highest-ranked demon. You ended their lineage. You shattered their hierarchy. You rewrote their destiny. You exposed their legacy as fragile myth. And now the world waits for the next demon foolish enough to stand in your way. Because inevitability walks with you. Power aligns with you. Realms adjust around you. And every hierarchy that once stood tall will eventually kneel, not by demand, but by recognition. You are no longer the one who killed their strongest. You are the one every realm must now calculate around.